Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's project. This week I have a log to vase video. Here is the log. I've had it for a couple years. I'm not really sure what to do with it for a while, and then I just decided to put it on the lathe and decide as I go. So starting off with the bowl gouge, it is in between centers. I have a spur center and then the live center in the tailstock. So the idea here is just to take a little bit of material off and get it going fast enough to make the tenon. So once I knew it was secure enough between centers, I turned the speed up and started to remove a lot more material at a time. Still some bark on there, and as you can see, the indentation, which really automatically makes it off balance. And then it's bigger on one end than the other, and here you can see me working on the tenon. And I dropped my phone. So using a chisel and a hammer to get some of the bark off. At this point I had decided to use the indentation to make a highlight of resin. So I take the bark off and then I sand it down to a little bit smoother than it was pretty rough right there. And here is my mad science project. I cut up some plastic solo cups and used some hot glue to glue them onto the side to hold the resin in. So I glued them to the sides and each end, obviously. It worked pretty well, actually. I only had a tiny leak that I was able to manage no problem and fix. Using Total Boat Resin, medium hardener. If you're looking for some resin, Total Boat is generous enough to give a discount. Check the video description. There's a link and the discount code there. Thank you, Total Boat. Mixing the resin using a heat gun very briefly to pop some bubbles. And I'm using two different colors here. The first color I'm using is Savage from Black Diamond. I'll link it and the other one also in the video description. The second one is Baku Red from Eye Candy. I really like this color a lot. So you can see the Baku Red is a little bit brighter than the Savage, so together I think they worked pretty well. Pouring it in my I don't know what, submarine shaped something. This was a task in and of itself to remove it after the fact. I actually gave up and ended up taking it over to the bandsaw, and it was much easier that way. So here it's mounted on the tenon using the bowl gouge to start. A very sharp bowl gouge. And just trying to get it in balance and trued up, which is going to take a little while. Got the speed up here a little bit. I think this is around 1200 RPM. Switched over to the Easy Wood Tools negative rake tipped #1 hollower. This works really, really well on resin, which is why I'm using it as a non-hollowing tool. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I put out a new video every week. It's free to subscribe. If you don't want to miss an upload, be sure to hit that bell icon. It'll notify you when I upload a new project. And hitting the like button helps me out quite a bit, so be sure to hit that like button. A little bit of a different view here, taking some very light passes with the bowl gouge, trying to get it as smooth as possible and get the shape the way I want it. The idea I was going for here was a little bit of a flare on top, as you can see, and wider at the top and thinner at the bottom. It didn't end up exactly that way, but keep watching and you'll see how the shape ended up. Because of that indentation in the resin, I didn't get as much of a flare as I wanted to, but I think in the end it still came out okay. Using a negative rake tip here on another easy wood tool. Also, thank you everyone for the recommendations on the next bet with my brother. We still haven't agreed on anything, but the one I'm leaning towards, and this is for you, Joe, if you are watching, listening, I'm thinking 30,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. And the bet, I don't know if we want to do $100 again or something a little bit different. So somebody out there suggested that if I win, he has to clean the shop, but that's difficult because I live in Maine and he lives in Florida. So money or glory, I think, is the only possibilities here. Starting the sanding process here with 80 grit sandpaper. I ended up sanding from 80 grit up to 2000 grit, well, on the resin part especially. On the wood part I ended up going up to 600. Using some Starbond CA glue to fill a tiny chip out. There's a link in the video description for Starbond and a discount code, so thank you to Starbond. Here I'm using a Forstner bit in the drill chuck to start hollowing. Started with a I don't know if that was 3/4 or 1 inch Forstner bit, but a smaller one, and then this larger one to try to remove some more material. It's clearly not that sharp, and if you watch closely you can see a little bit of smoke coming out, which is why I'm kind of weaving it away. I didn't want my smoke detectors to go off, even though I had the air filter on and the dust collector. But after some hollowing, spending a lot of time on hollowing, starting with the hand tools and the hollowing process. Here I have the skew chisel just to balance it up on the rim. Starting to get it down to around the thickness that I want, and using the Easy Wood Tools No. 1 hollower, still with the carbide negative rake tip, and then a little bit more with the Forstner bit after I hollowed it out enough for it to fit down on the bottom half. It was pretty helpful to use the Forstner bits here, otherwise it would have taken forever. I just need to get some sharper Forstner bits. And thank you to all the recommendations on the brand of Forstner bits. I need to teach myself how to sharpen. I don't know how. I'm sure I can. Just need to look up a YouTube video. If there are any wood turners watching, which I know there usually are, but vases tend to take me a lot longer than a bowl. I don't know if you guys experience the same thing. Maybe you have a professional hollowing setup system. I obviously do not. Using some 120, removing an area where I use some CA glue on a small crack near the rim, and I put some sawdust in it. Starting with some wet sanding on the resin part here. I believe that was 600 grit. Clearly I can't find what I'm looking for. .800 grit. And this is 1,000 grit, and on and on. Some denatured alcohol to clean the surface before the sanding sealer. And I like the way the resin turned out. You can see a little bit of the wood through it in certain places, and I like that effect. So after sanding sealer, I'm denibbing it here with a Scotch-Brite pad. And then starting on the axe wood paste. Don't forget to save some money if you get some axe. axewoodpaste.com, save 15% with PF Wood 15. And beware of the other brands that will sell you what they're saying is the same product, but you get less of it and you pay more. So be sure to use Axe when you need this product. The Axe polishing paste. Again, very easy to use. No time at all, you get a nice shine or sheen. And one of the great things about Axe that I don't know if I've said before, but you know, say you have a piece and you want to, you've had it for, you know, a year or two, you can reapply the Axe polishing paste and give it some sheen, a new coat of sheen. So here is the piece finished except for removing the tenon. And my branding iron here. And then using some sanding sealer to finish her up. I'll have some beauty shots here at the end, so don't go anywhere. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It helps me out quite a bit. Here is the finished piece. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So until next week, peace out. Oh wait, don't go yet. One more thing. Comment peace out in the comments and I'll know you watched until the end.